To say I'm excited on this one would literally be an understatement, a massive understatement. I am so excited. Today's show is going to be really, really special. I know it's going to be special for you. It's going to be special for me. We've got an incredible guest, an exciting time. I'm coming to you live from Tampa, Florida. So let's get in here. Let's get this thing kicked off. It's going to be amazing.
Good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? You see, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.
Good morning and welcome to Hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning. How are you, my friend? I want to make sure that sound, I've got these new headphones. It's a little bit different. I want to make sure you guys can hear me before I go talking like crazy. I know my friend Thomas could hear me, but I want to make sure that you can hear me here on the show. A little bit of delay, but good morning. Today is Friday, November 20th, 2020. That's right. It's Friday, November 20th, 2020. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Friday, November 20th, 2020. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. Listen, I got to tell you a little backstory. I've got an amazing guest on today, amazing guest named Thomas Blackwell. He's here with me. I'm going to bring him in here in just a second, but I got to give you a little backstory first. It makes more sense with the backstory, right? So I get a package in the mail at my studio, this mysterious package, and I open it up and there's this book in it, right? There's this book, this incredible, it's got this great cover on it. It's this book and it's The Liberty of Our Language Revealed. We bring about what we talk about. And what was interesting is on this book cover, there is a journal, a leather-bound, leather-wrapped journal that is breaking through the bars there in the cover. And so what really got my attention is that exact journal that's on the cover of that book is the journal that I wrote my gratitude and goals in for years, until we had the hashtag Rise and Grind planners. Here's an old picture I found on like Facebook that I had posted. I have these things at my house. I have a couple hundred of these exact journals with parchment paper, with leather bound. What's crazy, it's a rare book, right? You don't just see these things laying around. And so when I saw that on the cover, it was kind of like, okay, all right, this one's going to be a special one. So I set the book aside. I had a list of a couple other books I had to finish first. So I set it aside. I think a month or two kind of went by. And then the time came, it got on the list, and I read the book. And I am here to tell you that after reading this book, my life literally was transformed, right? My life was good, amazing things happening. But he opened my eyes to some things I didn't even realize that I was doing, that was holding me back, that was limiting our potential. I mean, it was just crazy. It's a transformative book, literally transformed my life. So I immediately, as soon as I got done, I sent Mr. Blackwell a message. I said, oh my gosh, thank you for writing this book. Utterly transformative. Would you please be on my show? I would love to have you. And he said yes. We got it on the schedule. And what's crazy is he happened to be scheduled today of all days, whereas we've been doing this series all week. We've been talking about the morning five, right? 5 simple steps to an extraordinary life. And we've been talking about how if you do these 5 simple steps every day for 67 days to where it becomes habit, I'll give you all kinds of free gear because I believe in these steps so powerfully. And we've talked about don't hit the snooze button. We talked about don't touch your phone first thing in the morning. We talked about taking care of yourself gratitude and goals, and then taking care of yourself physically. And step 5 is sending out an encouraging message. The power of words. And so here today, we're going to talk about step 5, sending out that encouraging message with the man himself, Mr. Thomas Blackwell. So I'm going to bring him in here in just a second. Of course, you know what we got to do. You know what we got to do here on this show. We got to get things rolling. We got to get to dancing. I think I've got this figured out now where we can have a little bit of music back here. For those of you that know, and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact in their life. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. This is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up. I'll say what's up back. What's up, West Storm? How you doing, Cindy Conley? We've got Jeff Baker up in here, Terry LaPierre, Tina Kelly Overfelt's up in the house. What's up, Tabitha Walls? How you doing, Janelle Griego? We've got Kim Fair is in the house. We've got Tabby Negrit, Whitney Wells, Vicky Everett, Melvin Rodriguez, Gail Beecraft, Rick Tamburino is in here, Liza Myers, Borges, Eric Burns. We've got Terry LaPierre, Sean Jones is in the house, Marilyn Wilkin, John Gayheimer. Everybody's up in here on hashtag Rise and Grind. Amanda Sanner has shared. I appreciate that, Amanda. Appreciate you sharing that out. That's amazing, right? We've got young Darius Johnson up in here this morning. What's up, Don Sankey, Robin Welshings, Rodney Rock Hatfield, Jeremy Noling, John Gayheimer. Everybody's up in here on hashtag Rise and Grind. Listen, we've been talking about the Morning 5. If you're struggling with that, go to themorning5.com. You can learn more about it. I want to help. I can help. I promise you, it'll transform your life. And speaking of life transformations, dude, I have to bring in my man right now, Mr. Thomas Blackwell. I can't wait any longer, sir. Oh, you're muted. I can't wait. There he is.
Thomas, good morning.
Oh man, life is beautiful, incredible, and just so blessed, just like yourself.
Dude, life is beautiful. Life is incredible. Blessed indeed. So happy to have you. You're coming in to us from North Carolina, I believe. Is that what you told me?
I'm in North Carolina today, out at the beach with the family. So,
out at the beach with the family. Beautiful. So what are you doing in North Carolina, Thomas? You were telling me an interesting thing about you pre-interview. So I thought it'd be a great way for us to start this conversation off. What are you doing out there?
Yeah, so we're at a vacation home out here in North Carolina. Our family's been on a family adventure for the last 4 years. We planned on going out for a year and we sold most of our things, put the rest in storage up in Virginia. And then we said, we're going to cruise this beautiful country in Canada for 12 months, stay in vacation homes and see what everything has to offer. And after a year, we thought we were going to stop, but we felt like God was saying, keep going. And we kept going, and then we'd stop and then keep going. And so it's been 4 years now, over 4 years. And so that's what we're doing. Now we're out at the beach right now, and it's a beautiful place. We at least come to the beach at least once a year. And so we're out here. This is actually where I finished my book, The Liberty of Our Language Revealed. This is actually finished on this island right here. And so really? I'm writing another book right now. And so there's good inspiration here. And so that's where we're at.
Man, that's crazy, man. 4 years on the road. You said you guys have been in 77 different places, right? What
77.
That's incredible, man. Yep. Incredible. What a thing to do for you and your family. You mentioned your book. You finished it right there. So you're an amazing speaker, and writer, and anyone that reads your book will be able to capture the essence of both. You're a great writer, and included in the book, you include a bunch of your talks that you gave, and so on and so forth. And your talks are phenomenal as well. I can't wait to see you live and in person. So what I would like to know, just to kind of start this whole conversation off, is like, where did you learn those particular skills? And like, were you raised to respect and appreciate words as much as you do now, or is that something that came later?
Yeah, see, growing up, that's a great question. So growing up, there was something that triggered in my mind, Glenn, that probably was sports more than anything when it came to words, that, winners say they can and losers say they can't. And it's that simple. And I found out that when I found myself saying I can, I was winning in sports and things. And if I found myself talking myself the other way, it would go south. Excuse me. I'm a tennis player and a soccer player, and in tennis, if the other opponent started getting on themselves and speaking negatively against themselves, I knew I had them. It was just sort of this evolving understanding that how our words play into things, that what I say, we bring about what we talk about. And it served me into business and being an entrepreneur and running my own businesses early on too, where I, in one of my companies, I interviewed a lot of people and hired a lot of people and agents and built an insurance agency. And I got to a point literally where I could interview somebody, and within 60 seconds, I could tell a person's BS. I had like this BS radar, like within 60 seconds. And you know what BS is, but just in case now, I'm going to say it right now. It's, your belief system. And so I could tell a person's belief system within 60 seconds. And I would say, look, you're going to make it or you're not. And I could tell just by how you talk. And so that became prevalent. And so as I began speaking around the country, in Canada and parts of the world, it became my message that, change your language, change your life type thing. So it evolved over time because I found out that my language was different and the language of winners was different than those that did not achieve.
Yeah.
And so anyway, and it was sort of, people say, well, if you're going to speak, you gotta have a book. And so that's where I thought, what's my message? And it was, our language type thing. So I never, going through school and things, I never said, oh, I'm going to write a book someday. It really, really didn't. People just, this career evolved and people said, you got to have a book. And so I started writing one, and I thought, well, I'm going to write like I speak.
Right.
So I wrote the book just like I speak in that form. And
now your book, and I love that, right? Winners just their language is different. You're 100% right. They talk differently. Winners say they can, and losers don't. Simple as that. So with your book and the evolution of your book and you're speaking for people that maybe haven't read your book yet, we have a short, compressed amount of time here. However, I'm going to help make sure that whoever wants to read your book, we're going to get that in their hands today for sure. But we have a short, compressed amount of time. So somebody who hasn't read your book yet, right? Let's pretend you're on stage right now. And what is one of the most important things people need to know about words?
Yeah, they literally create our reality. And I prove it several times in the book, physically, scientifically, spiritually. This whole world was created by the word. If you've read the Bible in the beginning, the Lord created the world by the word. And so he's given us the great opportunity and freedom to create our own worlds, Glenn, by our words. So literally we bring about what we talk about. The things that we say come to pass. And so the whole mantra and everything is only say the things you actually want to happen. So there's the captain and the crew. I'll explain that. The captain and the crew, you're the captain. And whatever you say commands the crew. The crew is your body, your environment, those things around you. So when the captain says sail towards the promised land, the crew says, aye, aye, captain. There's no argument. There's no filter. They just do whatever the captain says. If the captain says, sink this ship, the crew says, aye, aye, captain. And they go and they sink the ship. So what happens is we relate things is, how are you commanding your crew? And I think about this and how oftentimes people perhaps wake up in the morning and they're sinking their own ships. Oh, it's Monday again. Nothing good ever happens on Monday.
Right.
Aye, aye, captain. Right. Where the next person says, I love Mondays. I love great things always happen. I'm meeting great people. Aye, aye, captain. Oh, it's flu season. I'm going to get sick. Aye, aye, captain. The body obeys. And so, I was, we were down in the Caribbean one time on a vacation with some friends and my buddy. The weather changed. How it can change. That tropical weather can change all of a sudden, and it started to change. And he goes, the weather's changing. I always get sick when the weather changes. And I said, aye, aye, captain. Right. And he got sick the next day. I said, he got sick. And I said, I love when the weather changes. It's enthralling. My adrenaline goes up. I just love it. And I had an exciting day. You see, so it's going to obey no matter what. So only say the things you actually want to happen. And there's so many aspects of it. As you know, as you read the book, there's the language of gratitude. There's language of forgiveness. I never thought that was going to be a part of the book, but because it was God-led, he said, you got to have this. It's actual language, liberating language of forgiveness. And so anyway, there's a lot of stories behind that people will enjoy as they read the book.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. And I think that is a powerful message that if you walk away with one thing today, I want you to throughout your day, like, aye, aye, captain, right? I want you to be aware of what you're saying to yourself, right? What are you saying as you go throughout your day? Do you keep telling yourself that you're just so tired? I'm so tired. Aye, aye, captain, right? People ask me, Glenn, how do you do it? You only sleep 4 hours and 20 minutes at night. I'm like, man, I'm full of energy all the time. 4 hours and 20 minutes is more than enough, right? Exactly. Aye, aye, captain. So I love that, man. In your book, you wrote it in a really interesting way. You tell the story with a secret room and a box, and we find this journal in there, and so on and so forth. And it kind of actually reminds me of a little bit of The Greatest Salesman in the World, where there was the scrolls, right? He had the hidden scrolls. What led you to write the book in that format? And is there kind of a story behind that as well?
Yeah. So when I started it, I believe there's 3 different ways of speaking and teaching, and there's instructional, there's motivational, and there's inspirational. And when I speak live, I speak in stories, and I tell a story. I make a point, and it keeps people intrigued, allows them to go in spirit and make an internal change. And so when I started writing the book, I said, what books keeps me intrigued? And it's when they have a story. And I also wanted to steer away from what I call a bark book. Now, this is self-development. This is helping people become better. So a bark book, there's lots of them out there, and it's just the format that they're in. A bark book is something, hey, do this, be this, change that, bark, bark, bark. Well, eventually we get tired of hearing a bark and we shut it out. And so when a person's barking at you the instructions on everything you've got to do to be different, eventually we get halfway through the book, and perhaps you're this way, I got the point, and I stop reading it. So where I knew that if it was in a story form, it would keep people from the beginning to the end, and I could bring about some principles that would help them if they would grasp onto them. So it was a matter of intrigue, and the main thing is it's how I speak. I speak in story form, and people. The number one thing that people say is I couldn't put it down. Right?
That's right.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted to say I couldn't put it down, and I had to find out. And so just like in a good talk, people want to know more. They want to say, hey, that's it? The guy's done talking? We want more,
Yes, you did a fantastic job of creating, it's a cliffhanger. It's you got to keep going so that you can find out more. The lessons that are in there are told in a very powerful way. And the most important part and component is it's all truth, man. like you're writing a fun story, but you're writing it with so much truth and power behind it. And that's the intriguing part, because I think deep down inside, we all know this. Like, I think we all know that we shouldn't be saying these negative things that we say, right? We know it doesn't make us feel good. Like, we know it, but yet we can't necessarily always control it. So on the how long did it take you to write this particular book, Thomas?
Great question. So I started writing it over 10 years ago, Glenn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I started writing it, and the interesting part about that is I started, transitioning from my other, businesses into speaking, and started writing the book, and I thought I was going to have it done in a year. And so I started writing the book, and the original title of the book was called Watch Your Language. And then I felt like God was really saying, okay, set this aside. Hold on. What? I'm supposed to have a book. I'm supposed to do this. But it was sort of an obedience test, really. And I thought I was never going to finish it. I thought, okay, maybe that was the season for that. But then 8 years later on this adventure, God was saying, pick it back up again. And so I did. So I finished it 3 years ago here on this island where I'm at right now. And interesting enough, many of the experiences that were in the book, because they're all real experiences, happened in the last 8 to 10 years. And so I had to have those in order to write the book. And so
Gotcha.
I know now how everything came full circle. And oftentimes our life is like that, where we can't see, the things right in front of us. But as we get further and further away, we realize there's a beautiful picture right there. And then it's a thank you versus a frustration. And so now I'm grateful that I was patient with it and everything came together because it had to be that way. And it's been just so humbling and inspiring what it's done all over the world because of that.
Incredible, man. Absolutely incredible. You are on the road. You've created space for inspiration, right? There's a book called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I don't know if you've read that book. But she talked, it's really, really good book. Very unique versus all the other books that I've read, in the sense that she just talks about inspiration as a living thing, that it actually exists and it's looking for a host, but we're also busy, right? That we're just like batting it away, the great ideas, and that we really have to create space for that, get ourselves grounded and whatnot. It sounds like you've done that. Traveling, really creating space to spend time with your family and get away from the normal routine. So my question for you would be, this is a morning show, right? We talk about the power of morning routines, the morning five, so on and so forth. Sure. So for you, Thomas, being on the road with your family, 77 different places, do you have a solid morning routine in place that you use to reset every day?
Oh, absolutely. You have to have that thing. So here's what I do, maybe like a camel would be, I before I get into bed, I start on my knees and I pray, and I get into bed. And when I get out of bed, I get on my knees again. And so first thing I do is I pray, and in gratitude, and first, and then the things that the Lord knows I need already, but he knows I want to ask for them. And then I do that. And then I do kind of a clearing mentally, and then I go and I read the Word of God. So I read the scriptures every morning, and then I journal on that. And I ask myself a question: what can I learn right now? What do you want to teach me right now? And as I'm reading, there's a saying that people say, if you want to talk to God, pray. If you want Him to talk to you, read the scriptures. So there's I feel like God can give me an answer every day as I read and I journal that day, and then I also say, what is thy will for me today? And I'll get those answers and I'll note those down, either on a post-it note or something like that. But I'll find out the tops. We call them in our family, so we'll go around in our family and say, hey, what's your tops for today? Because we all pray and find out what those are. And then after that, after I'm spiritually nourished,
right?
Then I do the physical.
Okay.
And then, so physical, I do my routine. Right now I do a set of 300. which I mean do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and 100 squats every single morning. Typically some sort of cardio as well, whether it's running as a family or I do have a little trampoline thing that I do. And then that's nothing else happens now. No, as I'm taking in, I drink some water with some apple cider vinegar in the morning. That alkalizes my body, and then
Apple cider vinegar. Okay.
Yeah. So don't do that straight. I mean, do water and like a teaspoon or two of apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
But that alkalizes your body, and then we're ready to go. And then we'll meet as a family. We do kind of a scripture study as a family and a prayer together. And something that's interesting in our family that we do is we bring about we talk about, but the people, there's a whole chapter on people tend to act how you speak to them. And I'll just mention this now is we have a pattern and a tradition in our family that one person says the prayer all day. So bless the food, we just bless different things. Every time we get in the car, we pray. We just do all those things. At the end of the day, we say a family prayer. And so one person in our family has the prayer signed all day. And at the end of the day, that person gets the spotlight. And everybody goes around and they say what they love about that person. So nobody goes, what I'm saying is we don't go to bed with contention in our home. If contention or aggravation or irritation is snuck in that day, just by going and saying what we love about that person and highlighting that person, all that leaves and it goes away. And words can dispel, positive words and love can dispel the contention and the hate and all those sorts of things. And so I've done that with organizations all over the world. It's amazing. You put one person in the center of the room, and there's a group, a team of 10, 12, 15 people, and they all go around and say what they love and appreciate about that person. Oh, wow. You watch that person light up. The connection with the people changes. The production goes up. And it's just by saying what we love. That's why the chapter is on people tend to act how you speak to them.
Right.
And so anyway, that's what happens in the Blackwell home, and that's what I do in the morning. And it's served me well. Gets me on point every morning.
Man, I love that. I love that. My family has adopted the prayer, the prayer person each day.
Hey.
Thank you for that, Thomas. We were doing the end of the night, kind of gratitude. What were you thankful for today? We were kind of doing that, but we were literally fighting over prayer sometimes. Like the kids were fighting over who prays, right? Which is it's kind of a backwards thing. So now everybody has their own day that they pray, that they lead prayer. Even when I'm on the road, I travel, we get together over a Zoom call and we do that at the end of the night. And there's been a shift in our house, because of it. So I really, really appreciate that. And I appreciate how you just reiterated, mind, body, spirit, right? We have to do that work on the mind, the body, the spirit every single day so that we can create that space, so that we can move, so that we can flow, so that we can go out and impact. Step 5 of the morning 5 is to send out an encouraging message, right? That's step 5. So we don't hit the snooze. We don't touch our phones first thing in the morning. We do gratitude, goals, right? We spend time in thought and in prayer. Then we take care of ourselves physically, just like you were talking about there. And I have found that step 5, sending out an encouraging message at that point when we're vibrating on this incredible frequency, right? We release that positive energy out into the world. I have found that step 5 to be like really, really powerful in ways that I never really anticipated, right? Just sending out a quick message like, hey, you're amazing. Thanks for who you are. And I think that falls in line with exactly what you're saying there with, you stand these people up in a room, right? Whether they're coworkers or family members or whatever, we stand them up in a room and let people pour those powerful words into them. And it just changes the world, doesn't it? Just lights everything up.
It does. Yeah. Absolutely. And I was, just to add to that, to my morning routine is something, before I sort of launch into the day is, I command my crew very specifically on what that day is going to look like. And so some people call them affirmations. I call them, sometimes the words you say when nobody's around and how do you speak to yourself? But I command my crew with affirmations. And so every day I'm saying different things. I receive inspiration and act on it. My life is better than expected. My expectations are pretty high. Just all these things. Today I'm meeting somebody incredible. I live a life of abundance. I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. It's these things that I command my crew of who I am every single day. And so, as we know, we bring about what we talk about. But that's a crucial part of the morning routine as well. It's commanding my crew or saying the affirmations. So,
commanding the crew. I love it. Hey, Thomas, hang out here for just a second. I am going to. It is 6 o'clock. I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions, then I'll let you go. For those of you that have to get out of here, I understand it's your morning routine, but I have something for you before you go. This book, I believe, needs to be in the hands of every human being on this planet. I truly believe that. And so what I want to do is I want to buy this book for anyone that needs it. All right. My man, Thomas Blackwell, it is not easy to hop on at 5 a.m., be on a show, all of those things. So I want you guys to pour into him today, right? Pour into him, shower him with positive words. Let him know. I want you to connect with him. But as you connect with him, if you would like a copy of the book, let him know. Thomas, they're gonna blow you up today, and then what I would like you to do is just invoice me. All right, everyone that messages you from hashtag Rise and Grind today, if you would please send them a copy of your book and just send me the total when you're all done. I don't know however many it is, but invoice me at the end. All right, we can do that. That'd be good. All right, listen, guys. No problem. Hey, listen, that's Thomas. He's amazing. Thank you for sharing this space and time with me. If you haven't already, hit the share button. If you have to go, so on and so forth, do all that. I get it. I'm going to pop back on with Thomas for just a little while longer. But seriously, blow him up. Have an incredible weekend. Go to glennlundy.com if you need more videos, all that good stuff. If you want a copy of this book, connect with Thomas. Connect with him first. Message him, and we'll get you a copy. All right, I'm going to come back to my man. All right, Thomas. What is the one thing that, like, when it comes to words, I want to make sure I word this right. Obviously, if we speak negatively, if we're telling the crew to do things opposite of the direction we want to go, we've discussed that a little bit on the show. But what have you seen in your experience? You've spoke on to over 1,000 times, right? You spoke all over. You've shared lots of experiences. You've met lots of people. Like, what is the maybe one of the biggest things that people are doing that's really holding them back from being able to get control over their words and their crew?
Yeah, so I think the thing that would be holding them back is not identifying the things that they can eliminate, or what would I say that is being consciousness. That's great for you, but yeah, but in my world, here's how it is. Or as I go from, that's great. I could be positive with Glenn Lundy in the morning on hashtag Rise and Grind, but then I go back to my environment and it's all negative. Recognizing that first, the consciousness of you can literally change your world by changing your language. And so by having that first belief of it, and then putting it into practice, and then staying consistent about it. And that's why I help people. I don't leave them out there, to dry. They can go. I send out a weekly inspirational language tip. And so the consistency, and that you're on that, but every single Monday morning they go to my website, thomasblackwellspeak.com. It's a free weekly inspirational language tip. And look, every single Monday morning I'm helping them with a story. I've written 101 of these, so they get 2 years of them, and then it resets after 2 years because you're ready for that. But just people's consciousness of only say the things you actually want to happen. If you don't want it to happen, change it. So, for example, a simple phrase I used to say was, in my world, nothing ever goes wrong. Well, there's even words inside of that, nothing and wrong. And so I switched that, change your language. So in my world, everything always goes right.
Right. Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
And so just being conscious of saying only the things that you actually want to happen. So as they read the book, they'll see the power, the physical power of these words. And so they'll take all negativity. They'll start eliminating words from their vocabulary that serve them no purpose.
Yeah.
Because they carry negative energy. So consciousness. Only say the things you actually want to happen.
Yeah, being very aware of that. I was hoping you would tap into that too, because I think some people think they're being positive, but they don't realize that some of just even the word choices, like what you were just referring to right there, can have a negative energy to them, even if the overall thought process is kind of positive, right? Like, it's interesting how that works, and you helped me identify that with your book. I started just seeing little things, little tiny things that I was saying to my wife, or saying to my kids, or saying to myself, or saying on my show, or writing in my goals, or writing my gratitude. I just started to identify, like, oh, wait a minute. We actually have to, we got to reverse that just a little bit. And it feels drastically different when you do that, man. It's absolutely incredible. So Thomas, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have to wrap this up, because I have to let you out of here too. So we're going to put you up on top of a mountain real quick. I don't know. Have you seen any of the other interviews where we put people on mountaintops?
I've been on mountaintop. I don't know if I've been on one with you, Glenn. But, yeah.
Perfect. Well, we're going to put you on top of the mountain, and all of civilization is at the base of the mountain. Everybody, and they're cheering for you, Thomas. They're like, Thomas, 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 Thomas. They're cheering for you. And someone walks over and hands you a microphone. And you have 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes, to give them some practical application, some wisdom for them to apply today, this week, this month, this year. This is their moment. What are you going to tell them?
Oh, that was a beautiful depiction of that. So, I would say probably this, that identify 3 things in your life that you can eliminate that are serving you no purpose. Identify 3 things that you can eliminate that are serving you no purpose. And then you created space, then identify 3 things in your life that you can do that will serve you purpose. To get new clothes in your closet, you have to clean out some things. But that whole depiction took me somewhere, and I would just wonder, where I'd want to get to know these people, and I want to get down and get amongst them and link arms with them and say, where are you at? You can do it. And that's what I do. My vision is to have significantly improve the language and mindset of more than 1 billion people. It's just authorship and inspirational speaking. But literally, if we eliminate things daily that serve us no purpose, it might be a habit, it might be an addiction, it might be something that's just not serving them. Eliminate them, identify them, let them go. It might be words. Eliminate 3 words that are serving you no purpose, and then choose 3 words that do serve you purpose and change it. I know I've seen the physical, literal power all over the world of what that can do for people. All over the world. I mean, I've spoken before COVID. I spoke in 12 countries in 12 months, and it's just books in Spanish. It's going to be in Vietnamese. I know what this will work for people. I've had the proof. And so, eliminate what's not serving you and add what does serve you, and constantly make that a consistent habit. And
I love that. I love that, man. Identify 3 things not serving you. Let's get rid of those, right? Sometimes we have to do some weed eating, right? We gotta get rid of the weeds so that our flowers can grow, right? So if we eliminate 3 things that currently aren't serving, replace them with 3 things that are serving, I think that's very practical. I think that's a great takeaway. I think it's super powerful. And Thomas, I think you're an amazing human being, right? Clearly, uniquely made by the God of the universe, God who made everything. And that God has made you to go out and be the best version of yourself so you can make an impact in other people's lives. And brother, you're living it out. You're making powerful decisions, which I appreciate. You sent me a book that transformed me and my family's life. And now I'm excited to be able to pass that forward to anybody who's listening. If you'd like a copy of Liberty of Our Language Revealed, Thomas Blackwell, shoot him a message. It's on the house. I'll take care of it, because I believe in you as well, Thomas. And I believe that the words that are written in that book can really transform people's lives. So I absolutely love you, brother. Thank you so much for being on #Rising Ground with me this morning.
My pleasure. Keep on doing what you're doing, Glenn. Believe in you and all that you're doing. Really appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. Excited to connect with you further, even beyond this. It's going to be amazing. Hey, you guys, listen, that was Thomas Blackwell. Follow him. All right. Go to thomasblackwellspeak.com. You can follow him there. He's on Facebook, so on and so forth. Get in his circle. Send him a message. Blow him up today. All kinds of encouraging messages. Show him what we do here on hashtag Rise and Grind, how we treat our amazing humans that come join us on the show. But listen, you've been challenged. Identify 3 things not serving you, right? That serve no purpose. Maybe it's words. Maybe it's just some words. Find 3 of them. Let's replace them with 3 things that do serve your purpose. Be conscious of the words that you use. And most importantly, get out there, have an amazing weekend, over the top, phenomenal, incredible weekend. And then if you would, please come back here and join me again Monday morning, 5:30 a.m., because we're going to do this all over again on hashtag Rise and Grind. Have an incredible day, friends.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? You see, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.